Hi, I'm John from WorkshopAddict.com. Today I want to show you the Ridgid R4512 hybrid 10-inch table saw. In case you're not quite sure what a hybrid saw is basically a step in between a contractor saw and a cabinet saw. Takes a lot of the features from a cabinet saw and mixes it in with the other features from a contractor saw, so it stays in between in the price range, and it's a really good option in case you don't quite want to get a cabinet saw or can't afford a cabinet saw. This is a really good option. A couple things I want to show you. First off is this has a 15-inch cut to the left of the blade and a 30-inch cut to the right of the blade, which is, man, it's a big step up from my job site saw that I used to own. My plan here is I want to walk you around the table saw and show you the different features of the saw, what's unique, what I think they could have improved on, and just kind of give you my overall opinions of the saw. So let's take a look. The very first thing I want to show you with the table saw is a little test, the test for vibration. This is a belt-driven motor, so there should not be much vibration in the unit. My old table saw was a direct drive. It vibrated, it was loud. I was surprised when I turned this on how quiet it is and how vibration free it is. So basically I've stood two nickels up on end on the table saw. I'm going to turn it on, let it run for a little bit, shut it off. You're actually going to hear, this has like a brake on this saw too, so you actually hear it slow down real fast. But the nickel should stand and not topple. So let's give it a whirl. There was the brake. And nickels are still standing. I don't know if this is real scientific, but I thought it was kind of neat. First thing that I want to show you is the safety features on this saw and how easy they are to work with. It has a blade guard up top here, and you can lock these up into place and set them back down as you need it. There's a blade guard right here, so keep your hands off of the blade. This is easily removable when you need to get to the change of blade or something. Flip this little switch here, and it pops right off. Set that aside. Now there is no place on board on the table saw to store this, so that's a small downer with this. But you can put that right on the side. The paws right here basically come off with just pushing the button. It snaps right off. Now here, the riving knife is something that I really like. First of all, you got a blade guard, a throat plate here, standard throat plate that comes with it. This is the only throat plate that comes with the saw, so there is no Dado blade or zero clearance insert blade. And I wouldn't expect a zero clearance insert blade, but I kind of expected a Dado blade insert. With this saw right here, crank this blade up from the front of the unit, and I'll have to show you a little closer. I'll take some pictures. But there's a little red knob lever in here. You flip this lever up, and this riving knife can move up to different levels here. So if you want to make a through cut, and you're not going to be going, it's not going to be going all the way through the piece of wood, you can keep this riving knife down and keep it as a splitter, or you can bring it up all the way as a riving knife. Lock it right back down into place. And if you want to remove it all together, which I don't recommend, pull it right out, put the lever down, there you go. So I'll show you a picture of that red lever here in a second. But I really like the ability to adjust the riving knife. It makes me more willing to use it, so that's a good feature. So next, let's move on to the fence. Alright, the fence is an easy one for me. This fence slides extremely well. It moves very well up and down the track. And locking in position is simple as pushing down the lever. There is an adjustment in the back here in case it's clamping too tight or too loose. But I'm a big fan of this. I've been measuring off the front and the back of the blade, and it has been square every single time I've done it. And that's very important to me. That's one of the most important things to me on a table saw is how's the fence going to act. There's a little tape in here with a guide so it can tell you how many inches away from the blade it is, but I don't like using those. You can dial them in pretty good. Again, I like using a tape measure, but this fence is tremendous. Here at the front of the table saw, there's a few things I want to point out. Most important is the mobile base that comes with this unit. I have a small shop. I used to have a job site table saw, and being able to fit this larger table saw into my shop, I had to be able to move it around. Well, Ridgid gives us a built-in mobile base. Basically press it down, there's 4 wheels that drop down, and you can swivel this all around your shop if you want. It moves extremely well, and when it locks down, the whole table saw sits right in place. Table saw is about 250 pounds, so this mobile base will have no problem handling the weight of the saw. This is the knob. This is your dial for raising and lowering your blade, and this is your safety feature on-off power switch. This is one thing that I didn't really care for with the unit. It has the child lock, which is fine, but with this cover, if your saw is on, you can just push it and shut it off. Problem I'm having is sometimes when I'm making a cut, I lean into it and I shut off the blade while I'm trying to make my cut. They just move this back about 2 inches. That would be fine. So that's what I got going. That's what we got going on the front of this saw. So here at the side of the table saw, it's pretty standard. You have a place to hold your miter gauge, hold your extra blades, your tools for changing out the blade, and the table saw tilt, the blade tilt. The back of the saw doesn't look like there's much to see, but I want to give you a little quick heads up. There's 6 Allen head screws that, when removed, you can take this back panel off and access the motor. This unit comes standard at 110 volts, and they even tell you in the manual there's an instruction to switch it to 220. You do that by changing some wires around on the motor. It's super simple. They give you instructions for it. And this is a great, great feature. A lot of cabinet saws are 220 or more, and if you don't have 220 in your shop, you either have to get it wired for 220 or go down to something that's a 110 unit. Well, this one gives you the option of both, so that's really nice, and we've already taken advantage of that. I switched mine to 220 recently, and it's a lot better for the motor, and it should make this thing last for years to come. Also, one other little note, if you take this off, down below there's a pan that it has a 4-inch dust chute at the bottom of the pan, and I'll show you that next. But this way, if you ever drop something down into this saw, or there's a really thin piece that gets stuck in there, you can take this off and pull it out. There's complete access. I vacuumed mine out when I was in there. It was nice. So now I'm going to show you the dust port on the bottom. As you can see, we're underneath the table saw now, and there's this pan that you put in when you assemble the unit that has this 4-inch dust port on. If you don't put the pan in, then all your dust just falls on the floor, which is fine, but in the shop you really want to try to collect all your dust. So since I don't have a 4-inch dust collection system, I had to come up with a way to taper that down into 2.5 so it would fit into my shop vacs. Here's what I did to handle the 4-inch dust port on the bottom of this table saw. It's got a male end down there, so I went out and bought one of these. They're called Ridgid flexible 4-inch hoses. They stretch out and do all kinds of stuff, but they tend to stay in their shape. So put the 4-inch on there. It holds right into place. You can use a clamp if you want, but there's really no need to. Then I bought one of these step down 4 inches to 2.5 inch. Fits right inside of here. Fits in really well. And then a coupler, 2.5 inch coupler. And now all of my shop vacs will hook right up to this. And this is nice because you can put it out the side, the other side, you can put it out the back. And the nice part about putting this out the back of the table saw is this rests really nicely on the mobile base unit, keeping it up off the floor, so it's really easy to get to. And when you operate the base, it just kind of does one of these. It just sits on top of it. So this is a great option if you want to go from the 4 inch to the 2.5. A couple more things about the table saw. Ridgid gives you this nice push stick with a magnet on it, so you can either stick it to the tabletop or a leg. And if, like I mentioned before, this doesn't come with zero clearance insert plate or a Dado blade insert, what you can do is there's some aftermarket ones, or you can make your own, and they're nice. They come right out of the box, put them in. I had a project to do and I didn't have time to mess around with making one, so I just bought one and it works great. Overall, I love this table saw. I was a little leery going to a bigger table saw in my small shop, but with the mobile base, it's tremendous. The fence, dead on. There's a space over on the side over there on the other side of the steel wing where in the manual it even shows you how to turn that into a router table. So you can make an addition on there and make this a dual purpose table. This is just a great unit. I love it. Can't go wrong, especially for the price. So if you're looking for a table saw and you're ready to upgrade a little bit, take a look at the Ridgid R4512 hybrid saw. You'll be happy you did. I'm John from WorkshopAddict.com. Talk to you later.